Hey guys, welcome back to Dixie Belle's YouTube channel. It's Lauren here from Furniture Flipping Teacher. If you tuned in last FFT Friday, you saw me make over this beautiful French provincial dresser and turn it into a beautiful tea rose color dresser. And I ended up selling that for $375. So just an update on the profit with that one, $315. I didn't end up painting the mirror with it because my client that bought it didn't end up wanting it. So I want to show you today how I take this mirror and I can sell it separately from the dresser and still make a profit. We're going to go over a couple of different ways that you can paint a mirror effectively and quickly. Let's go ahead and get started. So I don't know about you, but tons and tons of dressers that I acquire also come with mirrors. And a lot of the times I don't really like to paint the mirrors and sell them with the dresser. Call me crazy, but to me, it doesn't really add that much more value. Could be different in your opinion or in your market, but that's just how I see it. So sometimes I like to take the mirrors separately from the dresser and paint them a different color and then sell them separately for that much more of a profit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with cleaning. So I'm gonna use my White Lightning. Usually I have my buckets of water and that sort of thing, but I didn't want to get all that out with just a small mirror. So I've got my White Lightning that I'm just gonna spray around to still get all of that dirt, dust, grime, and grease off of the surface. And then I've got a separate water bottle full of just plain old water, and that is what I'm going to rinse with. And then now that we've got everything cleaned off, just as we would any other piece of solid wood furniture, we are going to do a light scuff sand. I've got my Surf Prep Rad Pad, a blue one, which is the fine grit, so it's not really going to take any of the finish off, but it's going to roughen up the surface just a tad bit. And then after I've got it all sanded, I am going to take my microfiber cloth and I just dampened it a bit, and I'm gonna wipe back all that dust so it doesn't get stuck in our paint. All right, just one more step before we get to painting, and that is to protect the mirror from the paint. Now, I want to show you two ways that this can be done. One of them where I protect the mirror, and one of them where I leave the mirror as it is. So the first method that I'm going to show you is with playing cards. So I've got a deck of old playing cards, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide them in underneath the framing of the mirror so that my paint does not get on the actual mirror when I am painting. And then once I'm done, I'll just take them out and there will be no paint. All right, so now that I've got half of it covered with cards, I'm gonna leave the other half blank and give you another method once I've got it all painted to get the paint off of the mirror. It's time to paint. So the paint that I'm gonna be using today is the Silk Paint line in the color Oyster. So it's It's a white, but it has some gray undertones as well. And I just wanted to keep it really neutral so that way I can have a possibility of more and more buyers. I am going to be using a small round brush as well, just so that I can get into all of the details really easily. And plus it's a very small area that I'm going to be painting, and I don't want to get paint all over the place. All right, we got the first layer of paint on, and with whites, if we're going from dark to light, a lot of the times it's going to take several coats. So I'm estimating that this is going to take me 3 coats to get full coverage. So we'll come back with coat number 2 in just a little bit. We're ready for coat number 2, and between coats I like to put my brushes in a wrap of plastic wrap just so that I can keep it wet and I don't have to wash it between each and every coat, because I don't know about you, but washing the brushes is definitely one of my least favorite parts of painting. So let's go ahead and do coat number 2. Alrighty, again, coat number 2 is finished, and we're definitely going to need one more coat for full coverage, but I am sure that that's going to be all that we need. So we're going to wrap our brush back up and then be back for coat number 3. Alright, coat number 3, here we go. So I'm going to let coat number 3 dry, and then we'll come back and I'm going to show you my card trick. Who's ready for my card trick? All right, so the reason that I put these cards underneath the frame here is because I wanted to protect the paint, but taping it off is really a tedious process. So that's why I wanted to show you 2 other ways other than taping off the frame. And the first way is this card trick, and all you do is once your paint is dry, you pull out the cards and you have a nice clean line instead of having to worry about the tape. You do have to pull the cards just a little bit hard, but most of the time it will give you a pretty clean cut. Some of my cards were moving on the first coat of paint, and that's why I got a little bit on the mirror. But mostly, we've got a clean frame right around the mirror. And voila, this side is finished. Now you might wonder what I'm gonna do with the other side. I've already got paint all over the mirror. Why did I let it happen? Well, what you can do is you can take a razor blade, and then they've got this little razor blade holder that allows you to slide it up and have your razor blade here. And this is a new razor blade, so it's pretty sharp. So all I'm gonna do with the razor blade is scrape off the paint. And as long as you're not using the razor blade on its corner, it's not going to scratch the mirror. It's actually pretty satisfying to do this. And there, after I clean this off, you're gonna have a nice clean line around your frame. So as you can see, these are two completely different methods of preventing the paint from getting on the mirror or just taking the paint off of the mirror easily. So there's two things that I want to point out. And the first one is that the one over there where I let the paint get on the mirror, it was a little bit more messy and I've got some still cleaning to do. Now over here, I want to point out that there's some areas that the paint got stuck onto the cards, and so when I pulled it off, it actually removed some of the paint from the frame. So again, either one of these methods works, but if you are going to be doing the method where you let it get onto the mirror, you're most likely going to have more cleaning to do. If you're doing the method with the deck of cards, you're going to have some touch-ups to do. So you just have to choose which one you would like to do. So I'm gonna get everything cleaned up and then we'll get ready for photos. So as you guys can see, we moved over this pink French provincial dresser and we are gonna be staging this on this dresser. If you haven't seen the full video, that was last week's FFT Friday and you gotta check it out as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. The reason we're using this piece of furniture, or it could really be any piece of furniture, for the mirror is so that it gives it a little bit more depth and then so that people can see what it might look like with a piece of furniture. We could attach it to the wall, but our staging wall really isn't as sturdy. So I would not do that with this wall, but if you have a space maybe in your home where you could hang a mirror, that might be another option for staging a mirror. But we're gonna get some photos of this now, then we'll talk about what I'm gonna list it for. I don't know about you guys, but when I go to the store, I see mirrors that are just priced insanely. They're hundreds of dollars, and I know that I've got a pretty decent mirror here, but I'm not really looking to break anyone's bank. I tend to think about what I bought the actual piece for, and then seeing if I can recuperate my money just by selling the mirror. So I bought this set for $60, the dresser and the mirror. So in turn, I'm gonna try and sell that mirror for $60. I might list it at $75 and see if I can even get a profit by listing the mirror and selling it. I will go down if needed. I'll leave it on there for a few days and then I will end up taking a lower price just because it's all supplemental now, especially that I've sold that dresser. But just know that separating dressers from mirrors, if you are into that, is completely okay. And it's just a way for you to earn a little bit of extra profit if you are selling your pieces. So just keep that in mind as a little pro tip. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video on this FFT Friday, and we'll see you guys here next week for another FFT Friday. Be sure to get subscribed down below to Dixie Belle's channel, along with Furniture Flipping Teacher. We would love to have you there. So we'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you on the flip side.